Hello everyone, my name is Jiahui Liu. Today I will introduce you Stanley Ho and his whole contribution to Macau. I hope you enjoy this video. So let's start from Stanley Ho. He was known as King of Gambling in Macau, and he was passed away this year in 2020 at the age of 98. It was known as the end of era because his whole life was a legendary. Even though he was called the king of gambling, he has never gambled in his whole life, and he also told his children to not gamble. And he used to land in Macau with only $10 in his pocket. However, he earned back 500 billion asset later. And let's review his whole story. Start from his family. So here, the man in the right corner, he is Stanley Ho's grandfather called He Fu. He is one of the 5 biggest Chinese businessmen in Hong Kong at that time. And this man here, he called He Qidong. He is his grandfather's brother. He is also rich and powerful. He used to donate the planes to British during the First World War. And here the man in the picture is He Shiguang. He is Stanley Ho's father. He is also famous at his richness, and he was also one of the 10 richest businessmen in Hong Kong. And here the little boy is Stanley Ho. So this luxury family, however, didn't last for a long time. And when Stanley Ho was 13 years old, his uncle thought he may see some inside information about the stock market, so he started pushing everyone near him, including Stanley Ho's father, to buy the stock with him. They even borrowed a lot of money to purchase the stock. However, the stock market went down, and at that night they lose everything. They broke up, and one of his uncle got mental illness, the other one suicide. And Stanley Ho's father also ran away to Vietnam, leaving Stanley Ho with his mother alone in Hong Kong. And the really big family, which used to live in a luxury house, now broke up and falling apart. Stanley Ho and his mother moved to a really poor area in Hong Kong, and they cannot even afford for the bus ticket to school. So his mother told Stanley Ho that if you don't study really hard, we have to make you drop out from school because we can't afford, and you need to come back home to do some job and earn money for living. So that's the time Stanley Ho started really doing the hard work on study, and he used to at the bottom of the class, which is class D, and jump to top of the school and become the top student and earn his scholarship from Hong Kong University. And unfortunately, when on his junior year in school, the Hong Kong had a war with Japan, and Stanley Ho he volunteered to join the army and go fight the Japanese and have an opportunity to come to Macau. So when he first time landed on Macau, he only got $10 in his pocket. And that's the time he started looking for a job. He didn't care if it's hard or dangerous or dirty. He would do anything to earn money, to struggling for life. So during his job, he was also observing, and he found out the maritime transportation was a really good opportunity, even though it's an extremely dangerous job because you need to deal with the pirate or the Japanese. But however, they have a big return. So Stanley Ho go for it, and he got a secretary job from the company. He also learned Japanese and board gov from night school, so he can help with his boss. And he will try anything he can and try his best to solve all the problems for his boss. And he can even memorize 2,000 of businessmen's phone number. And his boss was really happy about that. So at the end of year, his boss gave him $1 million as the dividends. And Stanley Ho used this money to make more investment. He built up a bank, a shipment company, and make real estate investment. So within 2 years, he got back $10 million, and he became the most youngest and richest people in Macau. And in 1961, one of Stanley Ho's relatives, which called Han, asked him if he was interested in bidding for Macau's gambling franchise because it was expired. And even though Stanley Ho never gambled in his whole life, that he still know the profitability of casino. So he said yes immediately, and he promised the government that he will put 10% of the annual profit into the charity, and 90% of will be used to develop Macau's economy and instructions. So the government sounds really happy and released him the franchise and extend 8 years to him. So that's the time Stanley Ho started his casino career and built his STDM company. And gambling at that time was gambling and casino was a really small industry in Macau, because the government think this era will bring more trouble instead of profit. However, after cooperate with Stanley Ho, they have a huge impact on the Macau economy, and the gambling industry became the most famous destination in the world. And also other industries start rapidly develop, and it bring more and more travelers. And as you can see, all this industry, like including building, shipping, hotel, investment, they all bring more tourists and more money for Macau government. And by the 90s, Macau gambling industry can pay over 4 billion taxes for government, which is the 50% of the Macau whole total revenue. So right now, let's talk about the buildings and casinos that built from STDM company from Stanley Ho. So the first one I want to talk about is this one, Lisboa Casino. It was the first building that built from STDM. It's built in 1970. It's the shape of the building looks like a cage. That means they want to lock their customer inside like birds and took their money easily. And the second one is Grand Lisboa. It was built in 2008. It's the first 5-star casino hotel in Macau, even though what they want to build is a 7-star. And this building, the shape looks like a sword or a really sharp knife, which means they want to gain more power and beat their competitors, which including the Wing building right across them. And the third one is this Lisboa Palace. So it's a really luxury new resort. It was supposed to open in 2020, but because of the virus, and they delayed to 2021. And as you can see, it's a really luxury resort, and it was built cooperate with Lancaster and Lafayette. It has 1,400 rooms, and I'm really looking forward to visit it. And Stanley Ho also make really good connection between China and Macau. He used to buy 2 Chinese zodiac animal head. One is the horse, and the other one is a pig. He purchased it with more than $96 million and donated it to the museums in China. And also, he always pushed the Macau's economy and built really good relationship with China. And that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I believe you are more familiar with Stanley Ho and his contribution to Macau. And here's my reference. Thank you for watching. Bye.